and how to and pronouncing his name, Pastor. He's a Norfolk native, and he does a community service, and he's very active in the community. And I want to welcome him to the best of the 757. Good afternoon and good morning, Pastor Stephen.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. Did I pronounce your name right?
Kaya. Yep, you got it right.
Carius.
Good.
Carius. Okay. I, I get a little tongue tied when I talk to people, and I sometimes don't talk to them all the time,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things I do. But nevertheless, I'm glad you took the invitation to come on the show today, and want to welcome you back to the 757. It's been a while, and it's because I've been sick and stuff, and just getting back into formation of getting everything back as normal as possible. As we enter out of the COVID, and now we enter into winter and the holidays. Happy holidays to you and your family. Um, I know I had scheduled you before during the Thanksgiving week, but I forgot my son was graduating from from boot camp in Georgia, and we had to leave that day that we had scheduled. But for those that may not be aware of you and the type of work you do and your ministry, as well as your community activist stuff that you do, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, it's an honor to be with you today, brother. I really appreciate the work that you do. And it has been a while since since I've been on your broadcast. So
Mhm.
again, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Um, and happy holidays to you and your family as well. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm, as you mentioned, I am a minister. Um, and I work in the church. I'm a pastor, community activist. I'm very involved in a lot of things, not necessarily concerning the church, but concerning youth, our youth, and our communities.
Mhm.
So it's not. As you mentioned, I am a native of Norfolk. I love our city, and very concerned about our city. But
Mhm.
that's just a family man. I have a wife and children. Um, been married now 23 years. Beautiful children.
Congratulations.
So my wife and I are empty nesters now. We have
Oh,
yes. So that's a good thing.
yeah, we kind of like got the same, in the same boat. I mean, my oldest daughter stay with me now. Like she moved from Texas and a couple of years ago, man. But my youngest son, or my last son, he just is in the military. So yeah, how does it feel to be, nobody around and
Yeah. Well, it feels good, but also you still you're concerned about your children. Can you hear
yeah,
me Can you hear me clearly?
yeah, you've perfectly coming in loud and clear. Yeah,
Good, good. Yeah, we love it. But also with our children being away from home, that looking at the state of the world, you concerned, and then we get our phone calls and our texts, and then we get the visits also. So,
yeah,
but we we're growing accustomed to it, being spending time when we can, my wife and I. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so it's good to to have you here. You had this phrase on your sometimes you need to learn to be quiet even when you have a lot to say. I put that up there because I wanted to elaborate on it a little bit because of
Yeah.
we have so many activists or organizations today, and we all want to be leaders, but sometimes we don't have the right leaders. When we have a lot of followers, and then they want to be leaders. So, but when talking to the public and to the masses, you want to be able to have a direct viewpoint where you can come together and be on the same page with everything going today. When I did talk to you to schedule you, you was having an event about buck breaking.
Yeah.
I didn't, if you want to, speak on that and how did that turn out, and What was it all about? The film and stuff.
Yeah. Well, to your first, the first question,
Hmm.
in light of the knowing when to have a conversation or interject an opinion or a view,
Hmm.
your view, I think everything is timely. A lot of things I see that's currently happening here in the city of Norfolk that I'm very concerned about. Certain people that I disagree with.
Hmm.
I even with my feelings and my views, I know when it's appropriate to say what's on my mind or what's in my or reveal what's in my heart. So timing is everything. Sometimes there are a lot of you hear a lot of hoopla or a lot of commotion that goes on in our community where we get excited in our community about and we show up for a little short period of time and then we're not there. Um, and I also am guilty of this also. But in these instances, we should be very mindful of how we speak about certain things. So
Hmm.
that was my motivation in putting up that saying or that message.
Okay.
And through the buck breaking event, that derived from my watching Mr. Kanye West and also our brother Kyrie Irving, and seeing the backlash as well as Nick Cannon or people from our community
Hmm.
who um, feel pressure from people outside of our communities and break their stride or their opinion. They change it. 9 times, and a lot of times we do this when pressure is applied to most of us. So if you um, know anything about buck breaking, this was something that was done in the days of slavery to send a message to the other slaves who even had an inkling or a feeling of escaping or thinking differently. So those that the one that would stand up and would have a different opinion other than what was given to him,
Hmm.
um, he or she was made an example out of, and the other slaves or the other people who um, thought probably had a good um, I guess, feeling about that one that was standing up. In that buck breaking process, he was, or she again, was the example was made whether they were whipped, whether their properties were burnt down, whether they would lose their jobs, or even
Hmm.
friendships or relationships. So when the other slaves would see this happen to someone that they admired, they say, no, I'm not going to stand up. I'm not going to be in disagreement, even if they were uncomfortable about a situation in fear of the same things happening to them. So that this event was is a very proud event. I was
Hmm.
very proud. I would have liked to have seen more people to have come and show the support concerning this film, but I understand it was around the Thanksgiving holiday, and people are spending time with their families. But in situation in events like this, I would like to see a packed room, um, especially our people and our young people.
Yeah. It's very difficult sometimes when trying to get the word out. Sometimes you have to schedule a couple of weeks in advance.
Yes,
You have to schedule a couple of weeks in advance or something to get people's schedule. It's all sorry about that. But sometimes you have to schedule stuff a couple of weeks so people can schedule, pencil it in on their calendar. And
yeah,
besides the holidays with everybody traveling, 2 or 3 days in advance.
yes.
But will you be doing it again or?
Yes, sir. We're gonna be doing actually probably someone requested to continue to do the hidden colors with the buck breaking and various um, other documentaries,
Hmm.
because I think most of us have to be re-educated concerning our position here in this country.
Hmm.
So we will be doing a part two, but we have. I was speaking with another organization, and I think, I have a couple of different two events that'll be coming up shortly, and we're going to try to figure out how we can reschedule a date and an appropriate place to have the buck breaking part two event.
Okay. Yeah. I think it'll be a tremendous event with everything going on with Kanye and the basketball player. It's just that when you start discussing our history, they only want you to discuss the history that they have taught us.
Yes,
As when you talk to, I have African friends, and they would say, "Y'all are indoctrinated," meaning that you only know what somebody tell you. But when you start reading and researching yourself, because the way I was brought up back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, they say put it in a book because they won't read it.
yeah,
But there are black people are reading and writing, and they don't want their kids to find out the things that their ancestors did. When it comes, that's why when um, George Floyd got killed and the world saw it, that changed everything. You
yeah.
know, everybody was, countries were up in roars that that's what y'all do.
I
Y'all,
think, but
Mhm.
I think it changed it for a moment,
Right,
and also I guess you could liken it unto Emmett Till. If
right,
you see in the moment, our sister, man, she wanted to view her son's body and let the world see it.
right,
At that time, the world wasn't ready for the change that needed to take place. But I think it it resonated to the human being, the condition of her son. So when you
right.
saw Mr. George Floyd and this whole incident, you see the momentum, or you feel the spirit of young people exciting change or demanding it. And what happened to water it down, you get people of our generation, my generation, that are telling them that it's okay, remain calm, and you know, cooling that cool off tactic. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of that is taking place today. This is the reason that we have very slow progress.
Yeah. And with young as when you study Martin Luther King, some of his books and his writings, they would ask him, why do you use young people in what you do?
Hmm.
His reply was, well, see, with young people, you can tell them don't do something, but they'll do it anyway.
Hmm.
Meaning that you might stop me, but you can't stop young people because they see it different. So
Yes.
when they're marching or in other words riding, you can say stand still. I I was involved, like I've been involved with stuff in the community most of my life. So I know
Hmm.
when in Portsmouth, when the police, it was a football game with Norfolk, with Hassie Narcum and Wilson. It was like a rivalry game. That was when the Frankie Lawrence Stadium was on High Street, and the grocery market, Earl Market, was on High Street. So I think this might have been after the game. And one of the people going in the store to buy some stuff, and so this off duty policeman, he worked there, and he told the guy, "Hey, look, get out the store, or something, boy." He said, one word went to another. I wasn't there, so I'm only paraphrasing. And the manager gave him a gun because he was off duty. He didn't have his gun. He was working there. The manager of the store gave him a gun, and he killed the black guy. He was about 16
Wow.
or 17 years old.
Was that?
And that large major riots in the area. People may not be aware of it, or know, but in Portsmouth, I think they rioted for like a couple of weeks. They was, burning down buildings, all the gangs. Gangs is nothing new. They always had gangs here. And North Side in Portsmouth was the biggest gang. They had 700 members. And that was boys. That
Wow.
was, boys. That was 700. And they had 300 and some girls. So 1,000 people in one gang. And
Wow.
all the gangs come together from, that was North Side. That's mostly downtown Portsmouth. Uh, and uh, and you had Cavalier Manor. You had Lincoln Park. All the gangs came together and they had a meeting over at the YMCA on Effingham. And the guy that got killed, his mother said, she, want to calm the people down. We don't want no violence and people like, and just so happened the Black Panthers that came in from Chicago. And it was like, well, we ain't trying to hear all that. They done kill a young man. We ain't trying to hear all that. So they dispersed, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of turmoil after that. But we still, that was in the 70s, and we're still here. We are 2022, and we're still going through the same thing, and all over the country, with police officers taking black young men and women lives. So what can we do from you as an activist in the community? How do you look at solving, or what can we do to try to eradicate or solve the problem in our community for our next generation?
Well, it's a good question. I think in just my short time, almost 20 years being an activist here in the city of Norfolk and seeing the changes that have been taken on here, I also see the hypocrisy amongst black leadership. We don't have good leadership here in the city of Norfolk.
Well,
We have a lot
let
of,
me let me correct you on that one, because I can disagree with you on that, because I have been to things that you've done. So you do have leaders, but for you as being a leader and an activist in the community, it's kind of like they kind of like want to push
yes,
you out of the spotlight, you know, because you're
yes,
out there
absolutely,
working, you're out there in
yeah,
the communities. People are, when something happens, the parents are calling you, and you're going
right,
out there and you're bringing, you're bringing the media because they're following you, and that they don't like. That's one of the reasons, because you do
right,
get
and
the
a lot
media
of times,
attention,
yes, sir, and a
and
lot of times
you
what we
do.
would do, we would ask the media not.
uh,
I'm sorry, yeah, and a lot of times we
yeah,
would ask the media not to film.
right, yeah,
We would, we knew that it was a personal matter with the family and the victims
hmm,
involved. So I understood it. So now it's more when you see most activists here in Norfolk, you see people that are potentially chasing a viral moment or a paycheck.
right,
So when I was, and one thing that I became a little weary of are
uh-huh,
the activists that are everywhere and for everybody.
hmm,
Uh, that's in anytime someone invites, a lot of invites I don't take because I understand how we can be played against one
hmm,
another.
yeah,
We don't have any real unity amongst black people here in Norfolk in terms of leadership. Um, I don't know too many black preachers here in Norfolk, and I'm speaking specifically on um, the city that I'm born and raised in.
Hmm.
You don't see too many preachers who of black skin that are serious about changes
Yeah.
here in the city, and that will speak openly about it without fear of losing friendships.
Yeah.
Uh, so, and I think a lot of us, a lot of the things from, again, my view, when you see the leadership here in Norfolk, you see the self-centered spirit. You feel that about um, no matter who we elect. And I know I've been a part of supporting a few candidates that
Hmm.
today I regret. Today I regret supporting them. I
Yeah.
regret endorsing them. It's no one that I've endorsed that I'm proud of endorsing them today. Not one person. So
Okay.
I had to take a break. I had to take a break for a moment and analyze
Hmm.
the responsibility that I have to our community, and also what input or involvement concerning the change or moving the goalposts would I like to be a part of. And I
Right.
saw when you galvanize certain people in the community, you find that the news media is always there, or the police, whole police team is always there.
Yeah.
Someone's, all of our meetings are on social media. Some of our meetings should not be on social media, and a lot of times we should
Right.
not be welcoming a lot of our force or some of our political leaders. Some of that's important for us to put them out of the room or not
Hmm.
to involve them in our affairs. So when you take on that type of mindset or those type of ideas, then you're looked upon as someone that's a separatist, or perhaps someone that doesn't want to work with people. And I would be the first to admit right on your show, I'm not
Hmm.
interested in working with everybody, because
Right.
everyone is not concerned about Johnny being murdered, or little, or one of Shanika being murdered, or the real problems that plague our communities. Most of these people who are in front of the cameras and that are making the news or are getting
Yeah.
these awards, some of these people are not involved when these people are in the hospital, when they're going to jail. These legal cases that they have to fight, you don't see these people. You don't see
Right.
when the father is dead or the mother is dead, and you have to go and visit that family and still try to come up with places. I mean, things so you can still give these children and families clothes and coats, and you don't see these people. So I find
Right.
it very offensive and ironic when you see a lot. So things have changed a great deal. I think people have become insensitive, especially here, as in terms of the activism work, has become very insensitive about what's going on in our city. It's all about, um, I guess, self. Excuse me if I drag that question off a little
Hmm.
longer than you anticipated.
Oh no, we got time. It's just that like I said with you, when because before most of the time I invite people on my show, I always try to follow them a little bit, get a little bit of background, and after I had you on the show and met you, and you had invited me out to some of your events, and I'm like, wow, he's doing a lot of work.
Yeah,
You was feeding hundreds of people,
yeah,
you
and
know.
and we weren't, and our organization OOU has not been recognized for, and I'm seeing people who are not doing what we,
Right,
and and I'm saying, how you haven't put in the work, you haven't, you know, you
right,
haven't been to these places and done some of the things, traveled to um, DC or to Richmond to help change laws and to
right.
be involved in that process. These people, they pop up, they're talking about um, whatever their cry is.
Hmm.
When I look at it, I'm offended because I'm offended because most of these groups are for everybody.
Right. You can't be for everybody.
No,
I mean,
I would
we
never. I would never want a friend.
Right.
I can't imagine that, or someone that I give my deepest concerns and I
Mm.
consult with you,
Right.
and we become very good friends. And now there's a trust that's built.
Right.
But every time I see you with my all of my concerns, all of the things I'm worried about,
Hmm.
and I'm sharing with you, and you're every time I see you with different groups that propose the same ideas, but you don't see them in the world. I
Right.
say when I say we're concerned with the Black community, I mean it.
Mm.
This not does not mean that I'm anti-white.
Right.
What it simply means is our priority first is in our community. But when I
Right.
see people, I'm not saying that we have to think completely alike, but we have to be
Right.
in sync to some degree.
Yeah.
And when I see these people partnering with everybody, everybody's hugging. I don't get hugs from everybody,
Right.
and and it's a good reason why, because I don't want hugs from everyone, right?
Right.
I don't go to every event because if I know in February, Black History Month, we're going to have a lot of
Mhm.
Black people concerned about what is that for 28 days. Going to be
Uh-huh.
concerned about our community. What are you
Right.
Juneteenth? That one day
Right.
you're going to see
Yeah.
these so-called these conscious people
Right.
all of a sudden wake up and say, what we need to change things in the community. But it should be 20. It should be 365, 24 hours a day,
Hello.
365 days a year.
Yeah.
But this is the attitude of the most of the people, and it makes it problematic for most of us who are sincere.
Yeah.
They want to smile in front of the camera and say that everything is all right. They understand the problems why the shootings are taking place. No, I see why. Because who who are you getting your advice from? And then you spill
Right.
this on the news that it's only the parents, or it starts in the home. I get it, but
Right.
it's far more than that. Our
Yeah.
community is dealing with a mental health issue, a great deal of it. It's a lot of sickness that's going on in our communities,
Right.
right? But it can't be fixed just by one group of people or just us, because eventually we're going to have to solicit help from everyone. But it
Yes.
starts with us first. It starts with us first, in recognizing it. We
Yeah.
can't just expect everyone to help us and we don't have a plan. We have
There
to
you
come
go.
together ourselves first. White folks understand this. Chinese, every other people understand this. Let's come together by ourselves first. Let's spend some time alone by ourselves, right?
Hmm.
Now, white folks are excited when we do this, saying, "Listen, y'all better fix our own stuff. We're tired
Right.
of we're tired of cleaning up your mess and giving you money." And when white folks give most of our organizations money, they stop being organizations. Stop doing the things that white folks thought they would do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't give the they don't well, yeah. So I see a lot of white folks are becoming, and other people for that matter have become very they don't trust a lot of blacks today, especially
Right.
if they're speaking about black matters.
Yeah.
A lot of white folks don't, and most of our people think that they're winning friendship with white folks because they have them in the room. They don't trust them, and I think a lot of
Mm.
black leaders make who really want systemic change in our community.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, because I'm having a little distortion with your mic. Uh, it breaks up a little bit when you're
Can you?
talking.
Oh, you can't hear me very well. How about?
It.
Can you hear
I
me?
do hear you, but it kind of like when you begin to talk, it'll break up a little bit. But maybe it's just something that's
It
technical.
breaks it
I
up
can't. A little bit, not
because
much.
I'm getting that from your end. I'm getting that from your end also.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I think sometime when we do these type of shows, there's always something because I ain't never had that. I ain't never
Yes,
heard that.
sir.
I ain't never heard that experience before, and
Yes.
I've been using this software for almost over 2 years, and
Wow.
but I know how technology is, and I know when they are sensitive with with when you're mentioning the people if I meant mentioning Kanye or
Yeah.
someone else, they kind of like send a technical
Yes.
tap to your mics and stuff to like you need to get off that subject.
Yes, sir.
That's basically
Well,
what they do. But nevertheless, we still move forward. Uh, like I said, is with the work that you do, uh, it's a lot of it takes a lot of strength mentally and spiritually because when you're dealing with families that have lost loved ones, and I make the statement sometimes when I'm in some of my shows when I do my help wanted shows and series, and when you look at mothers, it's like nobody's crying no more.
mm,
There's no tears. I wouldn't imagine if something happened to one of my children that there's no tears. I wouldn't be able to talk. I can't even talk when I say they they moved to another state just to
yeah.
go to college or to go in the military. I'm boohooing, if I'm talking about them and in public and I mention them, I'll start crying. And they doing very well. They do. They are exploring their careers and what they want to do with their lives. They're raising their families with no help from me. And but just to talk about them, I will start crying. So when I used to go to the kind of like visuals and stuff,
Mm,
I'm like, the last one I covered, I think it was when the young lady, she went to fix her friend's hair, and they kidnapped her and killed her in Newport
mm,
News. But she was from Norview, I think. And I'm like, I'm not coming to no more of these. It's like we out here giving like when they said candlelight visuals. And my spirit says, when do you really see candles? You see candles when people are having a birthday, a celebration of life. We out here letting out balloons and lighting candlesticks, but they're dead. They don't see the celebration of their life. Why are we celebrating people alive when they're dead? And when they're alive, we can't stand them. It's like a show. It's like we showing up. But when we show up, why didn't we show up before all this happened? And maybe we wouldn't be out here remembering. They will be here with us. The Bible said, train them while they're young. If we train our young people, and we have to, it's not a 30-minute raising somebody,
brother, can you
it's
can you
24
hear me?
hours a day. You know, you got to stay on them. And I know my kids used to get mad with me when they said, I want to go to the store. And we stayed right across the street from the store, 7-Eleven. I'm like, okay, I'll take you in a minute. Let me catch the last part of the news or a show, and I'll take you. No, I can walk. No, you ain't walking nowhere. You're not
Mm,
walking anywhere. I will take you. you know,
yeah.
Lord forbid if something happened because I was too busy and I couldn't take them to the store or, I get up. I don't want them riding the bus. I'm going to take you myself. Ain't no bus. I'm picking you up. You know what I'm saying? So because I had that time and that luxury to be able to do it, and sometimes when I couldn't do it, they'll come to me like, Dad, can I ride the bus with my friends? I'm coming
Hmm.
straight home. I'll say, okay, as long as it's difficult. So
Yeah.
the things that I see, like I said, I study everything that you do. I watch you when you're moving. I watch it when you're, talking to the crowd, the response, the young kids that are out there. You're not just talking to the adults. This is not an event for just adults. This is an event for the whole family, the whole
Yeah.
community.
That's right.
Everybody to come out here and know one another, and look out for this person. And then, you're educating them that what it's all about. And it's not about how much money you got in your pocket, because you had enough food to feed everybody, and had stuff you had to give away, because it was so much.
Right.
But it you accomplished the mission. You got people to the point where they could always depend on you. And you're
Yeah.
not even a politician.
Right.
Most of these
Right.
politicians get the vote, and then they don't show up after they get elected,
That's right.
you know. But you was always there.
It's true.
It, you know. So, and I
Yeah.
know that takes a lot of effort and a lot of spiritual guidance, you know.
Yeah.
So how do you feel
Well,
with like I said, everything going on with the community, with the change of police in Norfolk, with Boone retiring, and he's been on the news applying for another position at another state. But do you see any different or change at the top in the police department with they saying he wasn't doing his job?
I I think initially, and let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, he's coming in clear.
Okay. I think initially when Brother Boone got on the force, he perhaps had good intentions. And but I also see through examining his work, he had a job to do, but he didn't have people really working for him. He couldn't certain things he could not do. So as the city was failing in its crime, he would put out all these stats about the crime being less than what it actually was,
Hmm.
because he had to follow um,
The
a
process.
script.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, someone had given him, and he read from that book.
Hmm.
And with Mr. Boone, when he left, I found something very amazing. He had very little people in his corner to look at why they terminated him and didn't allow him to wait until his retirement.
Hmm.
Not too many black folks showed up on his behalf. Now, this was someone that was supposed to be in the black community, making the black community better. He was the face, he was the police chief in our
Right.
communities, cooking on the grill, passing out hamburgers, doing all of those things. Now, why is it when this is someone that loved our community and was concerned about our community, when he got thrown off the force, he got fired?
Yeah.
Black people did not show up.
Right.
So the question arose in my mind, what is it that we want in our community? Do we really want change? Mr. Boone, he and I disagreed on a few things,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
You and I can talk about when we disagree privately,
Right.
but on a let's say on a broadcast like this, because there are people that are not in our community that watch your show. So
Right.
even in my disagreement with our brother, I could share it with you personally, but I think it's troublesome when we share it without the proper education on large platforms or on social media. Um, but if we look at the state of our community name now, excuse me,
Hmm.
this new police chief, what is this, Goldstein, Goldberg?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yes. This man, he's going to be putting in, implementing things right in the city of Norfolk that's going to differ from what Police Chief Boone was trying to do.
Hmm.
This man is not going to be playing with black people. He's not going to be showing up at your events.
Hello.
He's not going to be he's not going to be worried about how much money he's giving your organization and trying to see how he can partner with you. This man is going to show you very clearly he's not interested in partnering with any grassroots organizations here in the city of Norfolk. And I think
Right.
right now is a teaching moment for our community and a lot of our community. The pain that's about to come to our
Mm-hmm.
community, it's 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 supposed to come and it
Right.
needs to come.
Mm-hmm.
Our people right now, we should not be comfortable in our communities. So I think because we do nothing and we're slow on wanting real change, the
Mm-hmm.
punishment that God is going to put on our backside is necessary.
Right.
It's necessary, very much so.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So you're going to see this man is of the police. These police
Mm-hmm.
officers that's going to be unleashed in our community. You're not. We haven't seen it in today's time. We saw it in
Right.
other cities. We've seen it in
Right.
other cities. We're like, wow. But watch, it's going to be home now. This police chief, and I wouldn't be surprised because I don't believe the current mayor, our current mayor, Mr. Uh, Alexander,
Uh-huh.
I don't think he'll be reelected if
Yeah.
they get a, they get a person that's concerned about our community and visible.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good person to bury your children and your dad and your uncle and family member. He's good,
Yeah.
and we appreciate those services.
Right.
However, we need someone that just doesn't work. If you can help fix the black community and fix black and brown our communities and help bring about um, education as well as um, resources,
Mm-hmm.
everyone that's close to our community will succeed.
Right.
If you can
And
help, yeah,
yeah, with Norfolk being like 92, 99, between 90 and 92% Afro American,
yeah,
why
yeah,
we got so much problems with the leadership?
yeah. And one of the things I think that's problematic,
Mm.
we have to stop voting just because I'm
They're
black.
black. Right.
That hasn't worked. If
Yeah.
we look at how we have black black everything voted in our um to help bring about change.
Mm.
And Norfolk is still suffering
Hello.
with all this leadership. So we should be careful just because you black. If I even thought about or considered running, don't vote for me because I'm black.
Right.
Vote because I'm interested in policy change. And if can bring it to be. A lot of our people we
Yeah.
vote in, we vote from because of our heart, not our mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get into office, they don't return our phone calls. They want nothing to do with us. I know.
Right.
So Norfolk is really a very dark place. They're building,
Yeah.
but it won't be a paradise for black people.
Okay. Yeah. I know. I
Yes.
call, because they got that money out there, $150 million for grassroots organizations
150
to
million.
stop
Yep.
violence. 150, and Norfolk gave 50 million to Chrysler Museum.
Yeah.
$50 million. I call the sheriff department. They connected me to somebody else, I guess, to work in the community. It was a black guy. And I said, well, I do comic books, and I'm just getting ready to release a coloring book because gun violence is just not gun violence. It's also a mental health problem.
That's
And
right.
my coloring book deals with the mental health part of my character dealing and talking to young people, young and old. And
Very
he said, well, we got books. I said, okay. I said, do you have coloring books, comic books? Well, no, I said, yeah, but I'm just see if you want to purchase some. No, we don't want to purchase any. I don't think we need them. We can purchase anything we want. We got millions of dollars to give the inmates materials that they need to read. I said, well, okay. I said, let me ask you a question. if you got millions of dollars for your inmates, why can't you buy them some books to keep them from coming back to be inmates? What? What are you saying? I said, well, you said you got all this money. I'm trying to, give you a way to communicate with young people because your communication is not working. The young people are entertained in what they do. They look at video, they play video games for hours. They're looking at YouTube videos with young people doing this and doing that. But you saying you got all this. Hey man, look, I'm from Berkeley. I'm well known in the community. I said, okay, I don't know you. Then he wants to go back and forth. You work for the sheriff department. Only thing you supposed to do, I should have reported him, but I ain't want to get him in no trouble because when I start doing what I do, I'm gonna keep on till somebody make it come. I'm gonna be everywhere on you so people know who you are. It's not about you. It's about young men and women dying in the streets or being incarcerated. When you got more people in Norfolk pipeline to prison for prison, they ain't even in prison yet, but still sitting down there in Norfolk in jail for 2-3 years. Can't afford a lawyer. Then when they go to prison, they in there for 10-20 years. And when they come out, this state here has got 3 generations of black men and brown men in jail. They got the father, they got the son, and the granddad. How do you get 3 generations of black and brown men in prison? Well over population of 2 or 3 million black and brown people. I don't know the statistics today, but most people don't do their research. They don't understand that Virginia used to, I don't know how many they got now. They used to have 800 prisons just in this state. 800 prisons. So when you're seeing that the pipeline to prison is for, that's why they won't, we always talking and arguing. All you got to do is ask one question. Why don't you change the 13th Amendment?
Right.
That's why most black men are running. Because once you get a felony, you don't show up in court. You already got a bench warrant out on you. And if you didn't get the right address, they don't get it, you don't get it. Because one time they had took a bench warrant out on me when I was running Picasso's. Right. And I went down, I was called or something, I was forgot. And they said, wait a minute, do you know there's a bench warrant out for you? For who? For you. For failing to appear. I said, appear where? I got a lawyer. We got lawyers on retainer. So, but I said, what I have to do, they said, all you have to do is come down here and turn yourself in, which I did. Then they let me out on my own recognizance. But I did, but if I had got stopped for anything, I'm automatically going to jail. So when we overlook the people that we put in place, the people that we elect, and with Boone, why Boone got fired? Because Boone started going in the community. He started showing up, and when when they had that killing out there with 2 or 3 people, he was out there, they interviewed him on the news. He's, almost with tears in his eyes. I already knew right then he was out. He was out because he was showing too much emotion for the black community.
Right.
He was getting too personal. That ain't happening. You got to be tough. They want you like, as whether or not we want to say it or not, we still living in a slave system because you got your field nigga and you got your house nigga. I don't usually use those words, but those are the historical words that been, the house niggas always the one that oversee the field niggas. You ain't overseeing them. You ain't tough enough on them. I mean, they getting killed in the street. They killing each other. My hands are tied. I'm trying to reach the community, let them know. And I know when we went out one time, I went out with you out in Tidewater Park, and here come Wavy TV 10 showing up. And They went and started knocking on doors.
Yeah,
Them
I
people
remember
went in
that.
the house. They went in the house. Like, it's
Yeah,
you. It's you going, you think I'm stupid?
yeah,
I'm gonna talk to you, and these people know who I am. They know where I stay at. Y'all about, you know what I'm saying? You cannot ask people to put their lives on the line when people are just trying to get, the news media is there to get, they get sensationalism. You know, they make it so that uh our people are the pawns that get the mighty dollar. Because most people don't understand TV stations. What makes TV stations successful in the local community? Their biggest their biggest money grower is the news. Because once after the news go off, that's all national. They get a part of that budget. But between, that's why you got news now coming on at 3 o'clock. News now come on at 3 o'clock to 7
mm,
or 6:30 locally. You know, we got 2.5 to almost 3 hours worth of news that's going on every single day. And who's the main characters? Who's got the starring roles? The Black community. We're everywhere.
mm,
And we have to
yeah.
educate our
That's
young people. Hey, you're the movie, you're the stars in the movie. You don't need no gun. Put the gun down, dog. There's a lot of things you can do. You got power. Well, what they do is they relinquish your power, with these guns. You got to have a gun. You got to have it. No, you don't. All you got to do is pick up that black or white book called the Bible. Learn to know the power within. The power that you got in
yeah,
you is the most powerful weapon you got. Your mind is the most powerful weapon there is. That's how the computer is built. The computer is built on the process of your brain. That's why you can keep adding and adding. And as long as you're doing positive things will
can you
happen.
hear me? You're going.
You're breaking in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and say,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Because you were.
Yeah, I
I
can hear
can hear
you.
you now. But you're
Okay.
right. You're right. Good.
You know. So when it comes to
Well,
you,
I mean, I
and like
certainly agree with you.
uh you were speaking.
No, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was saying is when
Nope.
you came
No.
on and you were speaking the way, like, what we do is the news media and people that sometimes around us diminish the things that we do. See, God give you a talent, and you're very good at your talent. You're a very good speaker. You're a very good
Wow.
organizer. And
Well, thank you.
some people want to get on the bandwagon because, hey, you got the platform. Let's roll with him, you know. And when I
Right.
try to explain why I don't invite a lot of people onto my show, because I really don't know you. I try to get people that I watch their pages and get the information. Oh, let me bring them on. And I try to document stuff so that people could say, well, I heard him, but I don't know nothing about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this man is out here in the streets. He's on the battlefield. Maybe if you
Mm-hmm.
was on the battlefield, maybe you would know what he's doing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and you always, since I've been knowing you until the pandemic, you was everywhere I turned, you was there.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, but brother, I think and I thank God for you. A lot of things when we go into the community and you see those cameras.
uh-huh.
I remember we were doing a feed in our family, which we're going to do again. And I saw some of our people were down on their luck. And I saw people taking pictures. And
Hmm.
they put those pictures of um, some of our loved ones that were down on their luck on Facebook.
Right.
I was very disappointed because I knew at that moment that the people were there with poor intentions, right? And never do I would like to um, um, shine a light on my brother or my sister who's
Right.
suffering.
Right.
We could talk to the ills that are taking place. However, we don't pick ourselves up by putting one of our own down.
Right.
And I saw the people. We had beautiful time out there. I mean, music was playing, very soulful music. We talking about Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder. I
Yeah.
mean, we're just having us a good time. And I saw these photos go up of the event and the organ. Excuse me.
Hmm.
The group took a picture of some of our less fortunate people, and they posted, and they were the only ones in the front. And these people were holding plates. These people were holding plates,
Hmm.
and I didn't see it being done, but I
Uh-huh.
saw it on social media. In fact, one of the persons had tagged me, had the nerve um, or they tagged me,
Hmm.
and I told them to please remove me from that tag. And I had a conversation um, with this couple
Uh-huh.
that anytime you're going to serve our people and knowing the condition in which we are, because we're in, excuse me, never do we go out to be on, be in a program, be on a program
Right.
to make our people look bad. We have enough things we have to deal with privately. A lot of the things that I'm involved with, we're involved with privately. We have some events that are coming up that we ask the community to be involved in. However, a lot of our work should be done privately, right? A lot of people don't see me on social media. I'm still here, but we're doing private work. We're trying to organize um, grassroots organizations and partner with to help our communities. A lot of you see Young Sheriff right now. It's under fire.
Hmm.
I, and I grew up uptown. I grew up in these areas,
Hmm.
but I've never seen so much destruction and violence that is coming out of, we call it Young's Park. At one time, Young's Park, even though being one of the projects, the ghettos, was
Uh-huh.
one of the best community parks or projects in the city of Norfolk. Young's Park, because it was a sense of family there. All of this violence, you ask anyone that's from that area, you 20 years ago, what has happened to that community? What's happened? Tidewater Park is gone.
Right.
I'm not sad about it because Tidewater Park has changed. When I came up on Tidewater Park in my community, we had disciplinarians there. We had big mamas there.
Yeah.
We had people who cared about our children. Could not run the community because we
Hello.
would get told on and then we would be disciplined. Well, since big mama or people who are really we respected in our community has died off, the communities are what they are now.
Yeah.
And so it's sad. So we must take an account and take responsibility of the mess that's made in our communities. This hasn't been done overnight. And a lot of the stuff that's going on in our community, we can't charge people alone for doing it.
Right.
A lot of these wounds we have are self-inflicted. Um, and most of we need solutions, real solutions
Hmm.
in our communities. And I'm also inclined to believe that most of us don't want healing. We don't want change.
Right.
Not all of us, but the majority of this black family. it seems it's headed in the direction of slavery again. We're looking for other people to do for us. We're comfortable being in the conditions in which we live in right now. We're satisfied. We
Yeah.
don't want family. Most of our most of our brothers don't want to be involved with their children or the woman that helped make the children that they made children with, and vice versa. Most of our women don't want men in the home because, in fact, if they bring some of these new brothers in their home, it's like bringing. It's almost like I should have given birth to these men because
Mhm.
they're raising children. Most of our men don't want to be accountable. And so we wonder why we're not taken seriously. Most of our women, most of the women that we, it's difficult to call some of our women queens and sister. Most of our women are, when we meet them, we're met with so much anger. The examples, not all of our women, but the majority
Right.
of our women, it's difficult
Yeah.
because we don't know what our women want today. And to our own credit, we should most of us should blame ourselves because we don't spend enough time with our women. We're not uplifting our women. We're not encouraging our women. The women, our women today, they are the um, basis, or they are the most important thing in our community. Our women. So
Yeah.
if the women is broken, if our women are broken, then the community, what you see, because of most, you see our women, they've given up on us. Most of our women have given up on us.
Right.
Most of our women don't trust us. And I'll go so far to say most of our women, to some degree, don't care about us. So if the component of love is missing out of our community and in our homes, you can't stop the shootings. You can't stop the bickering. You can't stop the jealousy. You can't stop the infidelity.
You
We see the
just got
love
to
is
that
not,
last part. Mhm.
yeah, it's broken. And
Yeah.
so when we look at it as truth and look at the condition of our family, we're not a very happy people now.
Right.
And we're not a people, we become, to some degree, we become very happy slaves.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with that said, uh, that is the end of my show. I'm going to have to bring you back for another session, because when we get to talking,
Yeah,
we run out of time. An hour go by so fast. I want to thank Culture by LE and Teresa Riddick, who's viewing and watching. And, I just put the
hey
comments
family.
up there so that people can see them, that we did, acknowledge them being there with, comments. Um, because of medical
Yeah,
reasons, I can't really see anything, because with the going to the eye doctor with the shots they're giving me in my eye makes things blurry. Uh, but
yes, sir. And I
nevertheless,
see North. The Norfolk Black Panther Party is on. I'm so glad. I want to tell. I'm very grateful for your support and your love, and all of the people who show love and show concern for our
Mhm.
community. And it real.
Right.
It's real work that has to be done.
Yeah, no question. Well, we'll plan to reschedule you again sometime in the near
Yes,
future,
sir.
or
Thank
the new year, whichever one comes first. My schedule is uh, used to be 3 days of talk. Now it's two, because I produce GA for Justice, Georgia Allen, former president of the NAACP in Virginia Beach. I gave her the
yes,
Thursday from 12 to 1 show. And I do Tuesdays and Saturdays with talk talk shows, and the rest is mostly music with my radio station. But as the new year come in with my campaign marketing and promoting, uh, I will be able to reach a larger audience with
Yeah.
some of the software I'll be putting in place, and the things I'll be doing in the community to uh, reach the young people, and not just young people, but adults, because guns don't kill people, people kill people. But because of the mental health problem, we don't look at it. And that's why I created my coloring book with my characters. And because I have been talking about this problem ever since 1999. And I just wanted to emphasize in my coloring book the time when I was telling, local officials and everybody else that I come in contact with, this is the problem, but y'all are not recognizing it. Now, that's almost 22 years later that you're now realizing. And I think since I came out with talking about with the developing of my coloring book, that now everybody is kind of like jumping more on the mental health situation with the gun violence, because you got to understand is your mind relives what you see. Young people relive being bullied, or their friends being bullied or being shot, people going into schools and killing a number of people, children, and we like it's a movie,
Yeah.
you know, just like the incident that just happened in Chesapeake. Condolences to those families, and up at the
Yeah.
university, the college, all these colleges, we're not just seeing death just in our community, but we're seeing it because God is getting tired of them. He's trying to get your attention. And when that happens, until it's written in the scripture, until my people humble themselves and fall down on their knees and pray, and only then I will hear their cry in heaven, and I will heal the land. You know,
That's right.
so once again, I want to thank you for coming on, Pastor Stephen. And
Thank you.
like I said, either I don't this week is I don't my schedule is kind of booked for this because this is the last month of the year, but hopefully in the first of the year you'll be one of the first ones I bring back on to kick off the new
Yes.
year.
Well, thank you for having me on. Please give your family my love, and I look forward to just working with you. I think your podcast. I thank you for just traveling with me on these
Right.
journeys, and not forgetting about me. Um,
Oh,
it's been
you're
challenging.
not easy. You can't forget Malcolm X.
Yeah, yeah.
You're the Malcolm X of the 757.
Oh,
You know,
I
you
and you
you
know,
all you,
and
you know
it's
your mannerism is Malcolm X.
yeah. Well,
you
someone
know,
someone said it. My grandfather. It's funny because someone else said that, and I at first I used to um it's an honor to be
yeah,
I guess looked at it someone as just the passion I think that ties those,
yeah,
and to hear someone else said that to me, said, man, brother, but I think it's the disciplines that we talk about. My mother
right,
raised us. She didn't, um but yeah, I'm just, I just thank you again for your friendship, and you just
right,
being who you are, the gifts
right,
that God has given you, and keeping the mantle lit so that we can have a platform.
yeah,
Because in some cases, with the message that we hold in our hearts, it's different. Some platforms you're not permitted. So I thank you for getting to show a lighter side of me and my family, that I'm not an angry black man.
oh
I'm just
no,
very
no,
disappointed. I'm
right.
just
When
very
you're
disappointed
passionate,
at this.
that's our passion as black people. We have passion. So when talking to other races or people, they don't understand that that's our passion. We're not angry. We just concern. We have love for what we see. We want to change. We want to be a part of the community. We don't want to be the stepping. We don't be the stepping stone. We want to be out there to make our community better. We don't want the violence in our community more than you want it in the city. See, the difference is they don't want it in the city. We don't want it in our community. See, that's why we don't understand. Business don't want it, and community is where we live. We definitely don't want it. So if we all are trying to work for the same common cause, but for some reason we are kind of shut out instead of then reaching out and continuing. And like I said, is you have been one that's constantly on the battlefield, and when you're a soldier in God's army, there's no rest. There is no
Thank you,
rest.
sir. Thank
But
you.
thank you again for this evening, and tell your wife I say hello, and I'll be reaching out to
Will
her
do.
to just make that schedule with her because
Yeah, because
we got to get her.
she wants to be on. She's excited. She asked about you this morning, and
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
whenever your first available is, because she has some things going on, and
Okay,
she will sit with you as well.
okay then. Thank you so much for you and your wife and your family,
Yes.
and I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you again for coming on.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
all right. Bye bye. Well, there you have it. Another show. Hope you share this link with people on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Messenger, YouTube, wherever you look, it's there. We'll be doing more with Mr. Pastor Stevens, and hopefully to have his wife scheduled for next week if her schedule permit, or and I have to make sure that my schedule as well. But remember to love yourself and put God first, and everything else will fall in place. It doesn't matter what others think about you, it's what you think about yourself. If you understand what I'm saying, then maybe you'll understand why we're in the situation we're in. It's what people make you think about yourself that cause all this gun violence. It's what people make you believe about yourself will destroy your life and others around you. You have to think positive. The scripture says, have faith of a mustard seed and water it every day. And how do you water something? You water it with love. LOVE. Change the frequency from a negative to a positive and watch love grow. We are loving people. We are not hateful people. For some reason, this generation don't understand it's about love. It's about love. You have to change the frequency. Don't forget to join me Monday through Fridays on WBDM Radio, frequency distribution from 3 to 5. The best R&B, a variety of music, and from 5 to 6, gospel music. I play more local artist music than any station in the 757. Why? Because our young people have to see people that look like them doing positive things. You don't need a gun. You don't need a weapon. Your mouth is a weapon. That's why they weaponize everything that we do. That's why the rap industry weaponized the music, because our words have power. You have to teach your kids and friends, change the frequency in which they think. All they have to do is think about love. Out of darkness come the light. The light is within us. We are spiritual people. The flesh is what our spirit is allowed to move around, because without the body, we can't exist on the planet Earth. You don't die when you die. Your body dies and goes back to the earth. That's why the preacher says, I now commit this body from which it came, back to the earth. Your spirit goes back to where God sends it. And there is a heaven and there is a hell. Teach your young people. They want to go beyond hell. They want to go beyond the universe where God created for all spirits to go. Until the next time, this has been the best of the 757 Community Talk Show. Y'all have a blessed day and a wonderful weekend.